Hello and welcome to Failure and Analysis. I'm playing Blood Bowl 2 with my Amazon team, game 29 against Necromantic. I get some inducements this time. Dead Leaves, 13, 8, and 4. Ooh, we got a Movement Werewolf, 270. Movement Werewolf, Agility Werewolf with Wrestle. Block Guard Fleshies, Killer White, yikes. Guard White, Block Sure Hands, Sure Feet. Guard Ghoul, Block Zombie, Dirty Player, Kick, and Wrestle. And the smorgasbord of zombies. 3 rerolls, 2 subs. Pretty good team. Oh. -1 on armor rolls when a player fails while going for it. Alright. Could take Zara. Or I could take a wizard. I like Zara.
I've always been a fan of it.
So I'm going to take Zara.
Ready, steady, boom. Welcome back, Small.
The Boner. Wow, that's an impressive stadium.
That's what a star player
Has he leveled it all the way up?
to prove it all.
Nice.
If he finishes the game with all his teeth, then I'll be a star player. Stadium's only
Oh, it's the grass. I thought it was the Astro Granite. So it's -1 on injury rolls. So
weather's fine.
go for it with your DFIs.
How do you defeat the necromantic teams?
Aha.
Well, thank you so much for that invaluable piece of advice.
Death to all wolves. Yep. That's a good policy. Alright then. Extra reroll. Caliber. 2 games in a row, huh? He got nothing.
This player likes to be well assisted.
That's it. Force him back and then
I don't understand what she did, but she hasn't moved an inch.
Wow. Pretty bad blocks. I really want to hit a fleshy. Wow, geez. Yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes with Skaven. I recall my game against Skaven with High Elves, I think, where I got blitzed 3 times in the first half. Didn't go well.
in their face.
Did not go well at all. This is a tough call. Who do I expose to the killer? Zara or my killer? I think Zara. Let's see if he takes it. He's got more armor. Which he probably won't cause as much damage.
The attacker has an assist.
But it'd be a shame to flush 270 down the drain.
Need to be close. So close they can smell your breath and see the dead insects in your teeth.
It's the DC bombshells. Got all the greats. Wonder Woman, Catwoman, Black Canary, Katana, Supergirl. That dude. Starfire. And Zara. Classic. How you doing, Cactus?
More the merrier. Nerf gathering around that old place, like halflings round a sandwich.
This white's gonna be a problem. Gonna be a problem. Ooh, ghoul hits.
This is going to be decisive.
Oh.
Come on, guys, together.
Look at Twinkle Toes there.
Yeah. Yeah, that orange color is pretty sweet. It's gonna be tough to get a block on that ghoul.
It's a big game, Bob. How do you feel about being at such an important match?
Indifferent. Ask me again when there's blood on the field.
I could hit that white.
That'll help the player move without risk.
Can't GFI that. Even with the soft landing. That'll work.
This way. The attacker smells weakness.
Woohoo! It's a lot of work to get a shot on a ghoul. Pay off. Nah. Yep. That's a little hard to do, but yeah. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. That's not too exposed. I don't like having a bunch of my guys tied up on this thing, but I'm trying to turn the corner here. So he's got an easy, he can base me pretty easily, but I'd also love to take a free shot at his werewolf, so I'm not sure the basing would be in his best interest. Oh wow.
They just got owned.
Dealt with the scoring threat, or the potential scoring threat. Zombie pals are the worst pals. Gosh, it's a very obscure reference. I've used that name online for a long time, over 20 years.
The thing about
and the source material that I used it from is even older than that. It's from an old RPG supplement, like Game World, called Shadow World, and it was made for the ICE system, like Rollmaster and that kind of thing. And the world fascinated me. It was really well written, and they would just put out supplements every once in a while that had like timelines and all this stuff that made it read. The supplements read like books. And I ran a couple of games, a couple of RPGs, tabletop RPGs in that universe. And he was one of the main characters, one of the sort of crazy bad guys. So I tend to name my wizards and my evil characters on Deval. And I happened to pick that for something I was doing, I can't remember, but it was one of the first games where people started to learn or know me as that, so it kind of stuck. And then you don't, when you switch games, you want to be known as the same thing because people recognize you when they move to that game too, and so it's sort of been with me ever since. Yeah, very obscure. Nobody even knows the source material. It didn't. It wasn't this thing that tons of people bought or anything like that. So, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. And yeah, there you have it. I could come around, potentially knock him into me, but do I want more shots at him? Or do I want to just move down the field? I think I just want to pile him. Is he worth piling? Probably. Ooh! Not in years. The last one I did with friends was probably 2-3 years ago, and I had a blast. I'll tell you about it in a minute. It was pretty fun. But no, I haven't tabletopped. I'm like, me and all my friends sort of eventually got married, had kids, you know, that whole thing, and getting together became, or moved away, you know, it became more and more difficult. But at a lot of the game companies I worked at, had quite a few people just playing tabletop RPGs, and that was fun. Good to see. But yeah, haven't had as much time to do it. It's a lot of work, you know, like especially for the game master, the dungeon master. Like, he has to create everything for the most part. That's why I really like this last one that I did. I'll tell you about it in a minute. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Jeez. Probably not worth the block there. Wanted to try to keep that ghoul locked down. Yeah, so I can't remember the name of it, but the system basically had a pretty simple rule set and sort of put everyone at the table in charge of the narrative. So when you were making your characters, you had to, each character had to have some kind of narrative connection to at least one other character at the table. So that created sort of backstories and relationships so that everyone wasn't, you know, meeting in the bar for the first time, right? So that was really cool. And then you know, the creation of the world was sort of collaborative. You know, the first few sessions you sort of just kind of brainstorm what kind of world you want to play in, and what you want the story to kind of be about, whether it's adventure or intrigue or political, or you could answer those questions and figure out what everyone's appetites were, that kind of thing. And then like every time you went to like determine if something was successful, you would roll dice, and it was like most of the rolls were just 2 dice, and if it was like 10 through 12 was like a success without problems, and then like I think a 7, 8, and 9, or even a 6, 7, 8, 9, but something, the average roll was a success, but there was a devil's bargain sort of thing where it was like, okay, you're trying to pick someone's pocket. Either you get the thing, but he notices you, or you don't get the thing and don't get noticed. So you could kind of choose which outcome you wanted. And it was the GM's role was to kind of come up with what the bargain was, right? What the 2 outcomes were, and then the player could decide sort of which way it went. And since most of the roles were in that space, it became this sort of really active storytelling process between everyone at the table. Because things rarely like worked perfectly in such a way that it was just we win, we win, we win, like many of the games are. So it was really compelling and real easy because it shared the load as far as the creation process to everyone at the table. So we could just get together and play, and not have a guy sit there for a month developing a world and writing a story and coming up with all the characters and all that stuff that is what it usually entails. So yeah, Pathfinder's pretty amazing. I've played a lot of the 3.5, but I've never played anything specifically Pathfinder. But yeah, I love tabletop RPGs. Are great with the right group, as with all things. I'll tell you about on my little bio down below the channel. It mentions the Gold Box games, and I'll tell you why that those games were important to me. Well, got my Zara trapped, didn't I? Well, I definitely have to kill you, but I could probably do it with you. The worst. Oh, even worse, actually. Nice game. Yeah, so the Gold Box series came at a perfect time for me because when you first start playing tabletop RPGs as a kid, yeah, I preferred the hero system for superheroes, but yeah, they were pretty similar. I'll tell you why the hero system and GURPS are great in a minute as well, in my opinion. But when you first start out playing RPGs, you're young, you're just trying to figure out how to survive, right? You're trying to figure out how to get to a position where you're comfortable and you can survive with your characters and you can, do amazing things. So you spend a lot of your time min-maxing, right? You learn the rules and then you're min-maxing to try to stay alive, beat the bad guys, right, in the most efficient way possible. It's just natural because you're, it's your first experience with the game. But that's like, to me, is like the least compelling aspect of RPGs. The true, excellence of games is not just beating the systems, but creating an awesome story, having awesome interaction between all the players at the table, that kind of stuff. And so when the Gold Box games came out, when I mean by Gold Box games are like Pool of Radiance for the PC, which were those old D&D games, that gave me the outlet I wanted as a young player to min-max, because I could min-max to my heart's content in those games, and it didn't really, that was the point of them, sort of thing. and then I could save all my actual role playing, you know, right? Like for the tabletops, and so I got the sort of the best of both worlds from the two games. And everyone at the table, you know, was kind of slowly coming online with that same sense, and we were all playing Pool of Radiance and all of its sequels, and we were in a much better place when we got to the actual table to play an RPG, right? So it really, really helped us move along. Why I love Hero Systems and GURPS is because of the disadd system, you know, where you have to choose things that are bad about your character.
The ball is in the player's
I think I consider that one of the genius things about some of those early game systems, because everyone was min-maxing and you were all trying to figure out what the best combos were and how to make your character the most effective possible and that kind of thing. No, that's nice. Don't pow me. And so here comes this game system that says, okay, you can have more points to make your character even more powerful, but you're going to have to do some storytelling. You're going to have to do some character creation that's compelling or interesting. You're going to have to flavor out, you know, where you're getting these points. And it's so ingenious because it's a total trap for all the little min-maxers. Before they know it, right, they're actually doing some role-playing before they've even sat down at the table, you know. You know, my guy has this vulnerability to this strange green rock from his home planet, you know, or whatever, right? Like, all of a sudden the enemies are using green rock, you know, like, it's creating these moments. And so, and everyone did it because they wanted the points to make themselves stronger, right? And so really, really well conceived. And I don't even know if that was their original intention or if they were just trying to, you know, come up with cool things. But it certainly had that amazing side effect. And sort of inadvertently made everyone at the table more engaged in this kind of storytelling and creative process rather than just playing it out as a minis game where you're just trying to beat the opponents and get their loot so you can beat better opponents next time. This is a real problem. I gotta figure out how to turn this around. I can definitely hit his killer with my killer. Or I can try the crazy dodges with Zara. I think I want to do both, but do the less risky thing first.
on the edge of the field, within grasping range of the
Get out. Oh. Oh, I can pile on though. Oh, and I can pile on though. There we go. Now he's out.
I think there was a plateau under this other one. That lair is away with the fairies. Don't look out. Murder such beasts.
Oh, that's good news. But we can just dodge away. These guys really GFI. Could potentially surf me. But I gotta do something. about this defense, but we'll see. This Gargoyle is going to be a real problem. What are you going to do? Yep. And that's the weird sort of consequence of you know, DMing or GMing a bunch of min-maxers, right? Like, in order to challenge them, especially if they're really intelligent and have a really good grasp of the rules, you have to do these really cheesy, almost mean things, right? And so you get into this adversarial situation where one of you has to win rather than both of you trying to collaborate to create the best, you know, storied event that you can think of, right? And the game takes on that whole weird shape, you know, because of the system, rather than it being a platform for everyone to have a great time telling stories and whatnot. So yeah. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, re-rolled it. Well, this doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. Probably should have just 2-die with Zara. Ooh, that's a kill. Gargoyle. Hey, Furious Orca. Yeah, she got crowd pushed. Had to put up a defense of some kind and force her to be two from the edge. Cost him a reroll, but he got her. She's fine though. She'll be back. His Gargoyle will not. Yeah, so the question here is, do I want to get another Crowd pushed. I don't believe I do.
Fires are ravenous. So long. Just one more shot.
This is still looking real bad though. He's gonna score on my drive. Should be full strength. And he probably will be too. Oh, he wants the extra KO roll. And not worried about me one turn. Probably fair. One KO roll down. Ooh, that's good.
They simply have a better dog. It hard.
Important thing, gotta keep possession of the ball, not lose it. Strike back would be terrible.
Ooh. So I could prepare for the riot. But aside from that, just go for damage. He does get to hit me back though, so I'll have to be somewhat careful. 14-10 for this game, Cactus. He was 1670, something like that. I ended up with 270, so. Oh, there's the riot. Sick. Oh, and a touchback on top of it. Beautiful.
Have you tried
Let's just say that's beautiful.
Sports drink,
Because it is.
able to prevent pestilence. No thanks.
Though,
I may not be the sharpest knife in the armor, but I'm not that.
it's still going to be tough to get past him. He's fast enough that he can.
This player, the attacker, smells weakness.
Get around behind me. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I have to go here just so I can have the privilege of GFIing next turn. And she's gonna double GFI. Hope for the best. Throw some blocks.
This player likes to be well assisted in the fight.
Nice. Regen though.
They keep coming back.
Hang on, did you see that? If you look very carefully, you may be able to discern parts of the opposing player out from beneath that mountain of flesh.
At least his tackler's out.
Their pains, our gain.
And if he does go for my ball carrier, she can sidestep. Weird place to put her. But okay. These GFIs are potentially very costly because of the need to GFI next turn.
Players arrive to assist their teammate.
So yeah, I can just blitz her and then probably get enough people over. But I have 3 scoring threats. Sorry, 4 scoring threats, depending on how that blitz goes.
Professor Swing, he's following up, hoping to get them knocked out next time.
I also just love the hero system for, and GURPS to a lesser extent, for the flexibility it gave you. If you could imagine it, you could create it. But yeah, it took some work. Like you had to really research the system to know how to do all the things you wanted to do. And there were some funny quirks, but it gave you a lot of flexibility, which was really fun.
Surrounded by the opposing team.
Oh. I'll echo that. Gotta have my killer. That's pretty high risk, like. Uh-oh. No reroll.
If the player is pushed here, it will finish in the public. And in general, much more
Wrestled her
dangerous
down.
players.
Not a great scatter. Nice. Oh, I could have surfed him.
Enough to come out on top.
That would have been much better.
Black player is so close.
Just trying to get him away. Things could have gone wrong with the surf. Sounds like somebody trying pretty hard to make it funny. But that is slightly amusing. Alright. We can do it.
So very close. I'm certain nothing will go wrong before the next turn.
We can do it. 1 and 9. I like it. Should I throw the extra block? No. Yeah. I've not heard that one, to be honest, but in his defense, if this even is a defense, if he's using that one over and over, it is hard to laugh at your own silly joke when you're using it all the time.
Needs to be a hell of a catch.
So I don't know if he's just trying the dry sense of humor approach or yeah, not sure what's going on there, but did he get his killer back? He did. What a jerk. Oh, it's turn 8. Although he does have a wolf. So, I have to actually defend this to some extent. Sad, I know. He doesn't have a reroll, though. I'm gonna let it go.
What was that, Joe?
What the hell?
Fantastic thing.
Oh, I'm just trying to introduce a catchphrase. My agent says it will help the future.
Don't do it again. I hate bad puns.
I rarely do this, but this is to protect them from a rock. I usually don't have subs. I'm usually lining up here with far fewer than my 11s, but that's why I put those two out. Just in case.
I wonder who will win in a fight between you and Morgan Fall.
Contractually, I'm not allowed to say, Joe. Suffice to say that the matter's already been settled.
His turn for a riot. Sweltering heat.
In fact, we may see more sweat than blood.
Manageable kick. And there it is. Wow. Let's see how the Heat wants to mess with this game.
Poor little buggers get
Okay, so I've got a guard blitzer, and he's got his kick zombie and a block zombie.
Not a significant difference.
So he's down.
Turning back the gate.
1, 2, 3,
things are on edge. This kick
4,
is crucial.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's at 10. And I'm at 3. I'm full strength. Good news. Now he's got more guard than I do. It's no good.
Jim, did you know that some cheerleaders get paid more than the players?
Is that a fact or what?
Well, it's a question of what the fans are looking at. Who would you rather look at?
Should put my killer on the same side as my leader. The leader's the best target there usually.
Roads will need to bear some
Ooh, passing rolls, huh?
sunny.
That's a good kick. So when he takes her out or tries to, I'd be within range to take a shot at him. As it stands too far away. Yeah, probably is. I considered swapping those two.
About to get punched above and below. At the same time.
I don't think I've been getting the most out of her. Last couple times I've been able to use her. I typically don't want to stab. But I'm usually able to with my guard to get hits with my killer, so not sure where that leaves her.
He's on him now, like a halfling on a hot dip.
Interesting set of follows.
They must have glue on their fingers.
The old double GFI foul.
He's splitting, so it's going to be okay. That's a GF.
Woohoo!
Those less educated
Cost you a
hunters,
reroll now.
signifies a great feat of ineptitude.
I'll get into this mess.
The attacker has an assist.
Come back to that block. Who am I gonna hit? Could hit him. Stab with her. This might be an opportunity. Could base wolves. Yeah. The only other choice is hit this guy with my killer, but meh. I think I just want to base everyone.
He's not an open buddy. That's gonna hurt.
Now if I blitz here, do I have to blitz here in order to stab when I get there? Like I've never, I think I blitz to here and then I stab? Yeah, okay.
Sounds like a good old-fashioned fight.
I never quite figured out how to do that. Okay. I did it right. Throw this 2-die block.
Unity is strength.
Nice.
That player is a real wall.
Force him to get creative.
Put some pressure on the ball carrier. Move quicker.
The downside of basing. I'll take that for sure. Is he gonna go for it? Is it potato time? Throw one die on Zara. Pray it works because of jump up. Ooh, zombie dodging time. Yeah. Desperate times. He got it though. He got it. Now we can push her away. Got the POW. Oh, got the injury. Huge. Ball is somewhat secure. Have to knock this guy down. Oh, got the wrestle off on her. Nice. Really would like a POW here. Yeah. How many POWs do I need? Quite a few. That was foolish positioning there. So 1 die to get a POW here, just so I can get a 1 die on the ball. That's my big play. I can actually get 2 dice on the ball if I 1 die POW that. Ugh.
Players arrive to assist their team.
And if that fails, what then? I'm pretty exposed. Glory time. Negative.
Is the assist going to be enough to come out on top? Pushing.
Not great. Knocked a lot of things down though. Didn't get any damage, but now I can blitz through my line. It won't be too secure down here though, so he'll likely have to end up scoring early, which give me a chance to tie it.
I want to see the opposing team have a go at the ball now.
Canary's dead.
They want to fight.
Decent line woman.
He's dead. Yes.
Free sub.
Light goes on.
Powers like that, I'd be king of the world. It's true. Probably be
The respects.
commenting matches alongside you.
When it works, it works. Jeez. Guard. Yep, 2 dead. My two of my best. Still doesn't get me there. Silly. Let's hit his killer. Let's foul this killer. Nope. 1 in 9.
Right next to a teammate.
On the edge of the field, within grasping range of the fence.
Ooh, re-rolls it. Risky. A zombie dodge failed. This just in.
Was about to get punched above and below at the same time.
Gotta get some joy here.
Got in the suit rated,
Hit stuff.
This is going to be decisive. That player went down like a sack of snorting unmentionables.
Double Dark. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. Are Amazon's a good choice for newbies? Just got this game and I have no idea what team to pick. I wanted Necromantic because they look awesome. They seem challenging. Amazons are an okay team for new players. They perform pretty well, but I'd say that they're at low TVs, like when you're just starting out before you developed your team. But I would say there are better teams for new players. It depends. So there's various things you need to learn as a new player. You have to learn how to get block advantage. You have to learn what all the kind of skills do, and probably figure out what type of coach you are. There's different people enjoy different types of teams. So do you think you would be, the two main types are bash and like skill play or elf ball. What do you think you would enjoy more? Do you think you'd enjoy bashing things and focus on killing and removing stuff from the pitch? Or do you think you'd enjoy moving the ball around, passing, catching, dodging, you know, scoring touchdowns more easily? And you might find out, you know, thematically you like one, but mechanically you like the other after playing a bit. But those are the two basic categories. Yeah. Humans are a great team for trying out both aspects because they're what's called a hybrid team. So although they don't perform well, because they tend to fail a little bit at both, you do learn both aspects of the game. You learn how to sort of move the ball, pass and catch, because they have guys that have passing and catching. And they have blitzers, which are good at hitting things, and they're pretty reliable because they have tons of skills. So they get a lot of free re-rolls, and they have 4 guys with block. So humans are great at teaching you the game or different aspects of the game, but you would want to switch over. You know, yeah, they're also pretty good at losing games. So yeah, a good starting team for learning the bash game are orcs, because they have 4 strong guys plus a troll that's very strong but unreliable. They have 4 guys with blit or block, so they're pretty reliable if you use them to do your blocking. And then a good team for learning how to play elf ball is dark elves, because they have 4 guys with block and good agility. So those are the teams I would recommend. Humans, if you're just starting out trying to learn all the different mechanics. Orcs, if you like bash, you like hitting things, being the stronger race, but still reliable. And then dark elves, if you want to play with passing and catching and still also reliable. Because your biggest thing as a new player is trying to manage like re-rolls and figuring out, you know, how to stay in the game even though you're, just gave him a free surf, how to stay in the game even though you're failing. And as a new player, you'll make a lot of mistakes, so you're more prone to failure. Right, and that's humans in a nutshell, right? Like there's they're very prone to failure. Elves are better at it, but you know, Blood Bowl's ultimately about trying to figure out ways to minimize risk. So yeah, try Orc. Yes, halflings are a comedy team. They're very fun, but they are not very effective. They can be very fun. They can also be terrible, but it's a toss-up. Halflings, I think halflings are better than ogres. Ogres are considered by many to be the worst team. But I think ogres stay in the game longer, potentially, because you usually almost always have an ogre to hit things with. So their ultimate failure state isn't as bad as the halfling's failure state. Running out of Amazons.
Come on, guys, together.
can't believe I'm suggesting this, but dwarves are also a decent starting race. They're extremely slow, and so what that will teach you, they're very reliable, but what being really slow will teach you is how to plan, how to score touchdowns by thinking it several turns ahead. And you'll have to do that with orcs as well, so yeah, undead are decent. More manageable big guys. Yeah, Chaos Dwarf also pretty reliable. Biggest problem is picking up the ball.
That's disappointing. But still standing.
4, 5. 5 players left. Not gonna win. So this will likely be this team's last game. Yeah.
That's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, Chaos Dwarves are pretty cool looking.
Players on the ground.
And it's one of the best teams in terms of power level. They start well, they finish well. All TV's good. And pretty reliable to start.
Player better get up. Nothing good comes from spending any time on the ground in this game.
Yeah, Wood Elf is a very strong team. I would still say Dark Elves are a better noob team. Simply because Wood Elf playstyle, in order to get the most out of Wood Elves, you have to really kind of learn how to cage dive and use leap and stuff like that, which is a good thing to learn. And I think Wood Elves are the best elf team. But for your bread and butter mechanics, I would say Dark Elves are more reliable and just more standard. But yeah, Wood Elves are also a good choice.
They should replace that player before they lose any more.
They've kicked the ball to the opponents. Now it's time to think defensively.
Yeah, that's true. I guess they only have one dodge. Yeah, I'm not surprised, especially if both your friends are sort of new players, right? Like, because that's the thing, they're very strong, but they're unreliable. So depending on how the dice go, they can be the most amazing piece, or they can be the worst piece. So it sounds like one of your friends had good dice and the other one had bad dice. Yeah, and so some of the big guys I think are absolutely important to the team you take. Some of them aren't. I would definitely play with one though, so you can learn what they're all about, learn what they're good at, what they're not good at, sort of feel out their unreliability. But yeah, do not rely on them, right? Is the big thing. Because Blood Bowl is a game about minimizing risk, a lot of new players I see use their big guys first, and because they're unreliable, they get some bad dice, and your turn is immediately over because they fail at something. So, you know, blitz with your guys with block, you know, save the big guy for last. He can still do his thing at the end of the turn, try to get that mighty blow hit in or whatever, but yeah, a lot of people just use him first because he's the most powerful, and you want to open with your most powerful thing, and that's a mistake.
Unity is strength.
Pile on. Not even close to good enough this game. Yeah, Orcs are a great team, great starting team, great. I think they're a good team. They only have trouble in some environments, the most common environments, at higher TVs. So,
Yes.
but new players don't really have to worry about that too much.
Hold it. We call that a fleeting pass.
It's really sunny or something.
Pass will kick off
No.
last-minute play and save its skin before full time.
A game that really dying. That tiny pressure made the match.
Well, I got pulverized. Oh, I outblocked him. So sad to see so many. Bad results. When I outblocked. %26 armor. Oh. That's low by low standards.
Bit local by playing matches with nearby opponents. Or you can select a coach to play against from anywhere in the world.
Yes, even lustry.
No level ups. Lost 2 players. Lost the game, more importantly. Let's see where I'm at now. Bad, I'll wager. Down there. Is there a best team? There's probably a few that are considered the best, the very, very best. But your problem is probably going to be more coaching skill level, right? I think a lot of the teams are going to see when you're just starting out, especially if you're in the champs ladder, is going to be you're going to be playing experienced coaches, and so their teams are going to seem ridiculously overpowered to you. And you're also likely, as you first start out your teams, you're going to be playing teams that have more skills than you because they've been playing for longer. So, so I think the difference in like all the tier 1 teams and the very best teams will sort of be lost on you compared to just how the coaches are better. But you'll have to learn quickly against elves, like how to cage the ball, how to keep the ball safe from your ball carrier on your drive. With the bash teams, you'll have to figure out how to get the most blocks out of your team and minimize how many blocks they're getting against you. Those are sort of the things to concentrate on. Yeah. And the difference between the best team and the second best team or third best team is probably lost in the difference between coaching ability. So, and then dice also weigh heavily into right. Like, so if you're playing someone who's a little bit better than you, but has bad dice, then there's a good chance you can come out with a win and do some good damage. Yeah, so, and one of the reasons Blood Bowl has been around so long and has been enjoyed by so many for so long is because there isn't one race or one team that's so much better that they consistently beat everything else. So, yeah, I mean the meta is fresh enough, mostly just because the dice can turn on you and the dice can be in your favor, and so the variance in the game allows for every dog to have his day. So even if you're not the best, you can still beat some of the best coaches, as long as you play reasonably well and the dice are working for you. So yeah. Oh yeah, so let's check. Actually, let me sign off on this recording first. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. This may be my last game with the Amazon team. I'll check to see if there's still some life left in these girls. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and come follow me on Twitch. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.